Students, today we will be discussing vitamin B2, which is also known as riboflavin. Its structure is a ribose alcohol. It is made up of heterocyclic parent ring, which is also known as isoalloxazine ring. Here you see the structure. You have three rings, okay. Ring A is pyrimidine ring, ring B is azine ring, and ring 3 is benzene ring. So as a whole it is also known as 6,7-dimethyl 9-D-ribotyl isoalloxazine, which is riboflavin or vitamin B2. Dietary sources. It is widely distributed in nature and there are plant sources and animal sources. Plant sources, the highest concentration occurs in yeasts. Then there are whole grains, dry beans and peas. There are nuts, green vegetables. Then germinating seeds, example grams or dals. They are very good sources of riboflavin or vitamin B2. Animal source, liver, kidney, milk, eggs, crab meat, they have high content. Crab meat especially has high content of vitamin B2. The recommended dietary allowance, there is a list of this RDAs for different people. In adults it is 1.5 to 1.8 milligram. Women in later half of pregnancy, they need 2 milligram. During lactation, that means during breastfeeding, they need 2.5 milligram. Infants need 0.6 milligram. Children need 1 to 1.8 milligram. And in adolescents need 2 to 2.5 milligram daily. The requirement increases in severe injury and burns that I already told you in my lecture of thiamine, that the requirement of all the vitamin increases in severe illness and infections and injury, burns and all that. So severe injury, burns, acute illness during increased protein utilization, pregnancy and lactation, these are the conditions in which the requirement of vitamin B2 increases. Flavin nucleotides, as they are also known, are readily absorbed in small intestine. Free riboflavin, it has to undergo phosphorylation, which is a prerequisite for absorption. So this is readily absorbed when in the phosphorylated form. Okay. Transport. Human blood plasma contains 2.5 to 4 microgram percent, that is 2/3 as FAD, and bulk of remainder as FMN. Okay, so FAD and FMN are the two types. We'll talk about it in detail now. Riboflavin is present in all tissues as nucleotides which are bound to proteins. They are also known as flavoproteins, and there is highest concentration in liver and kidney. Mechanism of action. There are two main derivatives. The biologically active forms are the phosphorylated forms. Okay, so two main derivatives. One is FMN and the other is FAD. Okay, FMN and FAD. Now FMN is flavin mononucleotide, which is also flavin ribotyl phosphate, and FAD is flavin adenine nucleotide, which is flavin ribotyl 2 phosphates with ribose adenine. Okay, so in FMN the phosphoric acid is attached to ribotyl alcohol group in position 5, and an FAD, it is linked to an adenine nucleotide through a pyrophosphate linkage to form FAD. So FMN and FAD are two coenzymes of this vitamin. Here you have riboflavin. Phosphorylation gives you flavin mononucleotide, and then again and phosphorylation is giving you flavin adenine dinucleotide. Okay, in this you have one phosphate group, in this you have two phosphate groups. So the acidic properties given by phosphoric acid group influences their capacity for combining with proteins. So these readily combine with proteins. FMN and FAD, they combine with protein, which is an apoenzyme. So FMN as coenzymes and protein apoenzyme, they together make holoenzyme, flavoproteins. Okay. Now these flavoproteins may also unite with metals like iron and all, they thus forming metalloflavoproteins. Okay. Now FMN and FAD are bound tightly or sometimes covalently to different enzymes, and to which enzymes they are attached, those enzymes are known as flavoenzymes. And the example is NADH dehydrogenase and succinate dehydrogenase that catalyze the oxidation or reduction of a substrate. So FMN and FAD are working as oxidation reduction process. They take part in oxidation reduction processes. And NADH dehydrogenase and succinate dehydrogenase, they are the enzymes where FMN and FAD are attached to them, and they are the enzymes of electron transport chain. The electron transport chain through which you can get ATP in mitochondria. So FAD formed by the transfer of an adenosine monophosphide moiety from ATP to FMN. This is what I already told you, how it gets phosphorylated and then it gets again phosphorylated to FAD. So FMN and FAD act as coenzymes in various hydrogen transfer reactions in metabolism, and they are each capable of reversibly accepting two hydrogen atoms, and thus they can be converted to FMN H2 and FAD H2. This is the electron transport chain, and here this is the complex 1. Okay, in complex 1 we have NADH dehydrogenase, and FMN acts as a coenzyme of that enzyme, and here we have succinate dehydrogenase and FAD acts as a coenzyme to that enzyme. Okay, then we have categories of enzymes, different enzymes to which this FMN and FAD act as coenzymes. So for FMN we have Warburg's yellow enzyme, we have cytochrome C reductase, we have L-amino acid oxidase. FMN acts as a coenzyme to these enzymes, and then FAD acts as an enzyme to xanthine oxidase in the conversion of xanthine to uric acid, D-amino acid oxidase, aldehyde oxidase, fumarate dehydrogenase, glycine oxidase, acyl CoA dehydrogenase, diaphorase. So all these enzymes, for all these enzymes FAD is the coenzyme, and for all these enzymes FMN is the coenzyme. Deficiency diseases. So if you are deficient of vitamin B2 or riboflavin, the first deficiency disease that you will see is chiliosis or angular cheilitis. Okay, chiliosis or angular cheilitis, it is the lesion at the mucocutaneous junction at the angles of the mouth leading to painful fissures here, see, and also this may be characterized by dry, scaly, painful lips also. Okay, so the lips and the angles of the mouth, they start having these painful fissures, and they are very painful. So chiliosis or cheilitis, angular cheilitis is the one and the same thing. This is the first deficiency disease of riboflavin or B2. See, you can see the cheilitis. Okay, then there is also infection of the tongue, which is known as glossitis. Here, see, there is painful glossitis, the tongue assuming a red, purple, magenta color. See, so magenta is a pinkish purplish color. So there is infection of the tongue which is painful, and it is known as painful glossitis. Okay, and this I will tell you, this is also about the tongue. Then seborrheic dermatitis, this is scaly greasy disformation of the skin about the ears, nose and nasolabial folds. Here the skin is scaly and greasy and it is peeling off, discoloration is occurring. See here, mainly near the ears, nose and nasolabial fold, but it could be anywhere. It could be your under breast, it could be in the perineal region, it could be anywhere. This seborrheic dermatitis, it could be in the scalp here, just like this. This is under the breast. Then in eyes, they may lead to corneal vascularization and inflammation with cloudiness of cornea, watering, burning of eyes, photophobia, scleral congestion. So in the eyes there will be increased vascularization, okay, and there is redness, okay, there is inflammation, there is clouding of cornea. This is the cornea, okay, and this is the sclera, this is the conjunctiva, okay. Then there is burning of eyes. Photophobia is they are unable to see the light. The pain and the eyes become painful when they go into the light, just like people with albinism, they have photophobia, right? And then there is scleral congestion. See, the sclera is also congested. In a normal person it will be all white, okay. So this is the condition that occurs in the eyes due to vitamin B2 deficiency. See, increased vascularization. Here also scleral congestion. So this as a whole they have shown that you may have seborrheic dermatitis, perineal region, under the breast, anywhere, or in between the buttocks cleft, in the nasal labial fold, okay. This is painful glossitis, and here they have shown cheilitis. So a 21-year-old homeless man presents to your clinic complaining of generalized weakness. He reports that he has only been eating 3 to 4 days per week when he is able to attend meals at a local soup kitchen. You notice that he has cracked skin at the corners of his lips, and further physical examination reveals vascularization of his cornea. So he has this, he doesn't have good nutrition. He's on soup, okay, and then he has cracked skin at the corners, that's chiliosis. Then examination of the eye reveals vascularization of cornea. Although you suspect that the patient likely has other medical problems related to poor nutrition, you believe that these physical findings are due to the deficiency of a precursor of enzyme involved in oxidation reduction reactions of the cell. Yeah, I told you FMN and FAD are already, they are the ones that take part in oxidation reduction reactions, and the inflammation and the vascularization and all could be occurring if that is not occurring right, okay. So this is vitamin B2 deficiency. So here we finish vitamin B2, and inshallah we'll be doing the other vitamin tomorrow. Hope you understood everything. Thank you very much.